Today we're building a Beaver Baffle system or Beaver Deceiver. The purpose of these are we install them in areas that beavers are damming. They allow water to flow while also giving the beaver an opportunity to stay there if they choose to. Material you'll need to build a Beaver Baffle system is galvanized mesh steel wire. We use 8-foot by 20-foot sheets that are 6 gauge and have 6 by 6 squares. You'll also need hog rings to tie everything together, bolt cutters to cut the steel mesh, and we use 20-foot, 15-inch double-walled corrugated drainage pipe. Typically we will use 2 of these pipes for the baffle system. First step is cutting the galvanized steel sheet to the size you want. We'll typically cut it at 14 feet in length and leave it 8 feet long. Second step is rolling the steel sheet into the circle. We typically will do this from both ends, rolling the sheet from one end and then rolling the sheet from another to form the circle. Next, we stand the sheet up and join both ends. We'll tie everything in using hog rings, and typically we'll overlap 6 inches of the cage together to keep everything sturdy. Next step is forming the top of the cage. To do this, we typically cut the cage vertically 2 feet down, typically in 1.5 foot sections. This allows us to bend the top and tie in together with hog rings, forming the top of the cage. Next step is forming the bottom. To do this, we'll take the end piece that was cut off at the beginning. We set the cage on top of this end piece and cut around it to form the circle. That will be the bottom. Once it's all been cut around, any end piece we will bend over and hog tie or tie it into the main cage for extra support. Next step is cutting a hole in the cage for the pipe to fit in. The pipe is 15 inches in diameter, so we'll cut a hole just big enough for the pipe to fit in tight. As a last step, we will wrap the whole cage in a smaller gauge and smaller squared cage. We do this to prevent any debris, beavers, or other wildlife from getting into the cage system. Once the whole cage is wrapped, we'll then recut out the hole for the pipe. Okay, so that is a simple how-to on how to build a Beaver Baffle. Next step is bringing everything out to your site and installing it.